So the head of the Department of Transportation, Secretary of Department of Transportation, Sean Duffy, former reality show star, has decided he was going on a vacation. Now, normally that's okay, but he did it for work. Sean Duffy went on
and he did it for 7 months.
7-month road trip.
So
with
whilst
yes.
being the Secretary of
This all
Transportation.
came out while you were away, Julie.
Right.
Yes.
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 I am back.
Apparently, Sean Duffy has been spending the last 7 months on the government teats, driving his family around. Now he's
got 9 kids.
The funny thing is, his wife.
With me. He has 9 kids.
He has 9 children.
He needs a TV.
No, he needs a vasectomy.
They need some birth control.
Yeah.
Just a TV will do. Like, fucking stop it.
His wife is also a former reality star. That's how they met. They
Right.
met doing like MTV reality, like Road
Yeah.
Rules, Real World television.
I think they actually met on the challenge,
They
on the
did.
crossover.
They met on
Yeah.
the challenge.
So can I just start with
They were like the two dickhead Republicans.
Yes, they were the 2 conservative people.
this is a reality TV show, so I had
Yeah.
no fucking idea. But what I will say, everything's so fucking expensive. I can understand why you would want to like combine work with vacation because had it been a way for me to be able to do that in the last 7
He has
weeks.
no real work to do, Julie.
He's the department, like, isn't he the Secretary of Department of Transportation? Don't we still
Yes.
have like cars and roads and trains?
We've
and
had a
stuff?
whole entire airline collapse under his watch,
Hey,
okay?
And I can tell you, with me trying to get back from Australia, fucking with cancelled flights, thank you, Delta. No shout out to you, pricks.
Yeah.
Like, there are problems.
I think we all know the people in Trump's cabinet aren't qualified for those jobs and don't actually work.
This is correct. yes.
So they said, hey, what we do well is like produce weird shit for the internet. That's what this administration's really good at.
They are good at that.
So tell me, like, just a silver lining of this. Surely what he did was take his 9,000 children and 5 brides, whatever the fuck he's got, on an Amtrak, like to show transportation
No,
in
they
America?
drove a RAV4.
Not even an American car?
No, they drove a Toyota, which again, right? I always say to people, this is supposed to be the America First group, right? So you would think they would drive like an Expedition or, an Escalade or
An
something like
American-made
that.
car.
An American-made vehicle. No, they drove a Toyota RAV4.
But, and also,
This was the whole. So it's going to be 5 episodes.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little mini series. The entire thing is just product placement. It's just Trump deals, right?
Yes, it's a giant
We
ad.
know Toyota, is on the list of Trump funders.
Right.
The same with they went on Royal Caribbean on part of this vacation.
is that an American cruise line? I have no idea.
No, but they did donate heavily
right.
to
Gotcha.
the Trump sort of
It's pay to
regime.
play.
It's pay to play.
It's one long infomercial for all of the businesses that have been donating to the Trump
So
administration.
was this also paid by Bezos? So we're going to be watching this on Amazon Prime?
I'm sure.
Is that what's gonna happen?
It's
Toyota, Shell, United Airlines, Caribbean, Boeing, like they've all like doled out to
Fucking
the Trump.
grift.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's a super grift, but I think the beyond the obvious corruption, what makes it even dumber is one,
Who
it's
these people are.
It's who these people are, and also it's not even a real road trip.
Yeah.
Like they don't even actually go around America on the road. They're
How
like,
did they fit all of their family in one
well,
car?
I think a couple of their kids are like much older, so I think they might be like
The older
late
ones
high school,
didn't go.
college age. Yeah, it seemed like it was just the middle and the younger
the
ones.
I'm
ones.
picturing National Lampoon's Vacation,
Yeah, basically.
the kids in the family.
Yeah, and they put out a trailer for it.
But with racist dicks.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And
Because let me tell you who these people are, okay? I am a real world aficionado.
same.
Okay.
Love the real world.
This is a TV show.
Yes,
right.
this actually was the first reality show ever on television. In the 90s, MTV decided we're going to put 7 strangers in a house and see what happens.
Yep, and they did that, and the first few seasons were incredible because it was like these really candid conversations about race and culture and sexuality and
all
religion.
of it. It was
all of it.
It was a true social experiment where they took 7 young people, all in like, you know, their early 20s for the most part, from all different walks of life. They would take people from Harlem. They would take a girl from Alabama. They'd take a guy from
Texas.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Sean Duffy's wife was on the San Francisco season,
Right.
which was particularly like
It was
charged
groundbreaking.
up. It was groundbreaking because it was one of the first seasons where there were just open conversations, particularly about like homosexuality in the LGBTQ community. And one of the cast members, Pedro
was I think that was the 3rd season, and
Yeah.
it was so groundbreaking because one of the cast members had AIDS and had he actually ended up dying shortly after filming was wrapped up. He was in full-blown AIDS and had to get medical care during the course of filming. So we see him in and out of the hospital. We see his boyfriend caring for him.
Yeah.
Rachel, Sean Duffy's wife, was the one Republican in the house. I mean, some of them were apolitical, and then you had a couple housemates who were very like socially like progressive people.
Yeah.
What, you know, the physician.
Yeah.
And the guy Judd. Did they ever get together?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. That was also the subplot is who was going to hook up with who.
A lot going on here.
Yeah.
Anyway, you would have thought living with such a group of people who honestly, for the most part, with the exception of Puck,
Yes.
they were all really great, kind people, and they learned from each other, except for Rachel. Rachel did not learn empathy. She did not learn
Humility.
She learned to grift. Basically,
Yes.
she learned to grift.
she learned how to keep cash in check.
And she didn't learn how to use contraception. That's
Clearly.
what I'm gathering from this entire
Clearly not.
conversation.
But at the time, like, Rachel was a woman who was actively part of the Arizona Republican Party. She was like a young Arizona Republican.
Yeah, she
who-
was like Erica Kurt.
Yeah.
Right. Jesus.
She was
we
being
don't need any more of
groomed
those.
to work for Republican
Yeah.
congresspeople and whatnot. And I believe she has worked in politics.
Yes.
Anyway,
she is.
the whole thing that gets me here is, do you guys remember when like Pete Buttigieg and his husband, they had their babies via surrogacy?
Yeah.
And all the MAGAs freaked the fuck out because Pete was like, worked from like the ICU
Yeah.
for a few days.
Yeah, like he took wasn't even paternity leave. It
No.
was just he was working
Yeah.
from home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everyone did
like when
in
his
2020.
twins were
right?
born.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But this guy gets
But
to
his twins,
fuck
like-
off on a 7-month vacation.
One of the babies was sick when it was
Yeah.
born
Yeah.
and was in the ICU though. So
Yeah.
he was like working from the ICU and they fucking freaked out.
Yeah.
This dude literally takes his 9 kids on a taxpayer funded trip.
And nothing. Just nothing. Just crickets. Nobody says anything.
It doesn't make me feel confident about getting on planes, trains, or automobiles in this country, just want to say.
Nor should it. Welcome everybody to Point of Disorder. I'm your host Norris Howard, and I am joined alongside Gina, and we have Julie back.
Yay!
I'm back. You thought
Thank
you'd
you for
lost
coming
me.
back, Julie. We know it was a struggle.
It was a struggle in many, many different ways. But I'm here.
Can't say I would have made the same decision. With that said, make sure everybody, you follow us on all of our social media platforms. That is at Point of Disorder or at Distill Social on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the places where you get your information. Now, we do want to get a little bit more serious, not very serious, but just talk a little bit about the landscape here in Michigan because some new polls have come out to tell us where everybody stands on the big, and I mean big, Senate and governor's races. Gina, you got some info for us.
Yeah, I do. Lots of stuff going on. Let's talk about the governor's race first. So basically, Jocelyn Benson is going to be our nominee. They don't even poll Chris Swanson.
And I can't say
Don't
I
even
would
wanna
either.
talk
Yeah.
about the
I
loser.
keep forgetting his name. I just go the policeman. That's all I can remember. Like that's how bad that is.
It
And
was-
I feel like I'm
he
pretty
gave a
connected.
very-
yeah.
I just say the cop.
The cop, yeah. Like,
He gave a
yeah.
very weird speech at the nominating convention.
Oh, did he?
Where he kind of got up there and screamed, and he was just like, "I see you, black people. I see you, like gay people."
You know
Like,
what I noticed? Tell me, like, okay, remember the Oprah episode where Tom Cruise jumps on the couch?
It gives that energy.
That's
yes,
the energy he
It's that
has.
energy. It's given
fucking
that
weird, Julie.
It's
That
given
short
that
man,
combined
like,
with
little, like
yeah, it's given that combined with what's the guy who got messed up, the Democrat, where he goes like, "Oh, oh, one guy, Howard Dean."
oh yeah.
Howard Dean was his name. Yeah, it's like both of those combined.
Back to the polls.
Back to the polls. New gubernatorial poll show Jocelyn Benson with a commanding lead. I mean, they have her in a matchup versus John James where she's, 5 points ahead of him. And Duggan is in third. She's double digits ahead of Duggan. So it kind of sounds like, a year ago when we all heard about Duggan, people were kind of concerned he would be pulling from Democrats. It's not looking like that right now. Now, because John James and Perry Johnson are kind of locked into this, like, sort of weird
They keep suing
horse
each other.
race.
Yeah.
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 They've
Perry
also-
Johnson's been pretty active in terms of like he seems to be showing up in my husband's feed in terms of like
shit ton of paid ads.
He's got a lot of
shit ton
he's
of
got a
paid
lot of
ads on YouTube and all that
He's
kind of
just
stuff.
spending his
like,
own money.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So they did a Perry Johnson matchup, and he does slightly worse. He's like 3 points behind James in the poll. So Benson is nearly 10 points ahead of Perry Johnson, and double digits ahead of Duggan in that poll also.
I think it's interesting the Duggan thing because I agree when he first announced, I was like, ooh, that could
Yeah.
get dicey. But I think the Trump administration just keeps doing the dumbest stuff.
Yeah.
And just any association with anything that has
Exactly.
anything even halfway to do with Trump or his donors or any of his
It's just
people is
most
just
of
toxic.
Duggan's
Yeah.
money is Republican money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's directly linked to these people.
Is it fair to say that most of where he's pulling from is the Republican Party, not from
Financially, yes,
Democrats?
for
but I
sure.
think also from a polling perspective, do you think, Gina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the folks who
Are embarrassed to vote Republican, like are pissed off with Republicans.
Chamber of
basically.
Commerce
Correct.
people,
Yeah.
the people that would say they're socially
Yeah, the
progressive, but
fiscally
fiscally
conservative.
conservative.
Yeah, the L.
exactly.
Butch Patterson's.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is the old Oakland County voter, right?
Yeah.
That used to be kind of purpley,
Yeah.
and that's kind of where he would think because he still performs well in Metro Detroit, but outstate he's getting
Yeah.
clobbered.
Yeah. So it feels like the Liz Cheney, like when they were trying to
Yeah.
attract
Exactly.
why they brought Liz Cheney into town, like the Democrats in 2024. This is the people that he'll be basically pulling.
Yeah.
And it just double shows that strategy just doesn't work.
It didn't work then.
It
Why
don't-
the
right.
fuck do you think it's going to work
It
now?
double shows like these are not the people that people want. So
People
just
don't
stop.
want people who play both
I
sides.
know.
Yeah, you gotta take a side on this.
It's just it's insane.
But we also got this big Senate race, and even more than the
Ooh.
governor's race, the Senate race is what I get asked about all over the
Time.
country.
Yeah, that's all people
I
care about.
cannot like go 30 seconds without hearing somebody texting me, calling me, popping up in a notification. Like this Senate race is literally rent free in everyone's brain across the country.
Yep.
It's like, I mean, we're here, so we hear about it, but it's literally national news on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So right now, the newest poll that dropped literally this morning has Abdul up by like 9.5 points.
9.5.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
he
a
was
pretty
neck and neck with
commanding-
Haley last week.
It's pretty commanding lead
So this
right
is
now.
the primary, right? So we're talking here. So we're talking about Abdul, Mallory, and Haley.
Yes,
So
correct.
give us the numbers, Gina.
Okay, well, it's El Said is leading. Right now, Mallory McMurrow is about 10 points behind, and then Stevens is
behind
behind.
Mallory.
Further behind Mallory.
Wow,
It's just so crazy how you can see this flip, because even just last week and in the week before, I mean, this was a dead heat.
yeah.
So let me break it down by race, because this might be interesting. With us being in Metro Detroit, we've got Dearborn right here. Detroit. So with white voters, El Said leads with 32%, Mallory 19, Stevens 10.
With white voters.
With
White voters.
Jesus.
Wow.
Wow, that was not. On
I did not expect that.
No,
African American voters, Stevens leads.
Yes, I expect that.
not surprising. Yep.
She has a commanding lead there, and then McMurrow and El Said only has about 15% of that share. So among voters who say they're not white or African American, oddly, Stevens has the lead again.
I have a deep theory why that is.
Okay, so she's got like a 27% share, El Said 15, McMurrow 5. A lot of people are still saying they're undecided. That is still a very large share. So let's hear the theory.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Haley Stevens, there's two big things with her that I think still draws particularly a strong support from the Black and Latino vote, and that is she did a lot of work connecting with the religious communities.
You're right.
Yeah.
Like
She did.
she is still very much so very comfortable going to Black churches, Latino churches, the Catholic community, and that continues to pay dividends for her. And to be fair, as a Black person, we vote for people we know.
Correct.
So we also see her a lot.
So
in
and
the
she's been
city.
very consistent with
Yes.
that as well. This is not a new thing that she
right.
started last week.
Nope.
This is something she has been doing for years, even in Oakland County. So even when she was running for, her congressional races, this was definitely something that she would
always-
lean into.
And I'm glad you
Yeah.
brought up Oakland County too, because some new numbers just came out that actually said more African Americans now live outside of Detroit than in it.
Yeah.
And so honing in on Oakland County, places like Southfield, Oak Park, even Ferndale and Farmington to a lesser extent, you really begin to get like not just voters, but people who have a little bit of disposable income can start donating to your campaign a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think Abdul has to do a lot more work with connecting with those voters, because the youth vote he's winning
Yeah.
hands
Well,
down.
Let's talk about that
Yeah.
for a second, because I have the age breakdown also.
Okay.
All right.
This I think will be very interesting.
Yeah.
Among voters 18 to 44 years old. So it's not even like necessarily the youth vote.
just the not old people.
people 44
Okay,
and under.
I'm now offended.
I'm sorry. I'm not far off, so I'm holding
old
on.
people.
I'm holding on. All right, but just to-
multi-generational group here.
yeah.
Wow.
So we'll say millennials and younger. The millennial and younger
Okay,
vote.
gotcha. All right, I'll
Right.
accept that.
Millennial and Gen Z, 44 and under, okay? 44 and under. 80% El Said.
That's devastating. That's
This is the
devastating.
Detroit Chamber poll.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Detroit Chamber, like a Chamber of Commerce.
They're Republicans.
Yeah, correct.
Haley Stevens has 4%. Mallory McMurrow 3%.
So what that tells Abdul's people and what it tells the youth vote is that if you go vote, your boy wins.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Yeah.
If you go vote, your boy wins.
It's literally going to be about turnout.
That's it.
Who goes to the polls?
Do you know what? I mean, I'm not going to talk to any of the candidates, but what I do love about this sort of energy for young people, and I've spoken about this for years, this is what happened in 2022 with reproductive rights. That got young people out back then, who then stayed at home in 2024 because they were pissed off. So, and voting is habit.
Yes.
It becomes a habit. Once you do it, you have to do it. It's like any habit. You have to do it multiple times before it just becomes like a reflex, right?
Yep.
So I mean, whichever candidate you stand with, I don't really care, but getting young people out to vote is just so fucking
I
important.
mean, we talked about
for
it.
democracy.
Yeah,
For democracy, period. For Michigan.
I agree. We talked about it on this pod, having Stella here from the Young
Yeah.
Democrats, the
I
college
mean,
Dems.
Stella, like the Michigan College Democrats got 1,000 people to the convention. Young people are fired up.
Yeah, and they're upset about a lot of stuff.
And the old people are scared as shit. about this.
Get down or lay down. It's as simple as that.
This all being said, these polls are constantly coming out. Mike Rogers is gaining in the polls. So he does not have the issue of being in a primary like our candidates do. So while our candidates are all attacking each other, Rogers is out there sailing and just whipping Republican votes. So I'm going to say this once, and I'm going to say this for everyone. I don't fucking care. But this is the goddamn year that we need to vote for whatever Senate candidate wins the primary, you guys. I don't care who it is. You get out there and you vote, because Mike Rogers cannot happen to Michigan.
No, this is the same guy who says, "Yeah, I want off-duty police at the polls,
Correct.
watching you vote." Like this is not
This
the type
is the
of
guy,
person.
Mike Rogers, made all that Purdue Pharma money.
Yep.
He's the guy who's saying we need to give law enforcement all this money, the opioid epidemic, blah blah blah. Mike, you helped the opioid epidemic. Mike doesn't want you to have reproductive care. Mike wants you to be poor. His policies will make everything you need to pay for even worse.
And he's from Florida.
And
He's from Florida,
he's
exactly.
a Florida man on top of it all.
Distilla's been talking about Mike Rogers for years. It's getting boring to me. But what he does have, and I think we need to remind everybody, is that he's going to have a shit ton of money.
Yes.
Because he doesn't have a primary, so therefore he does not have
Thank
to
you,
worry about
Julie.
this. And so I want to lift up exactly what you just said, Gina. At this point, I know I've just arrived back from down under, and all I've seen is how pissed off and disgruntled everybody is on the left side of politics here in Michigan. Everyone's pissed about a myriad of things, but this Senate race in particular has caused a lot of division. And I know that everyone is raw right now, but this is the time where feel bad for lick your wounds. Like we've all been doing it.
I
Lick
am
your wounds.
pledging. I will vote in November for whomever wins the Senate primary.
I mean, I do anyway, because I think the other side thinks that I'm less of a human being, and so therefore it's not a real choice for me.
But
Right.
that is right, Norris. But I think what we forget as white people is we often forget, as women in particular, that they also think that we're less of a human being as well.
That's
So just because you're white doesn't mean that they think any more of you than what they do a black person, quite honestly.
Spot on,
So
spot on.
just fucking, I don't know, haircut or a beheading. Dudes, and your haircut looks great, by the way. Gina, just saying. Now I'm mentioning haircuts, but yeah, take
What
a fucking
fantastic
haircut.
segue. But speaking about something to be pissed off about, if you haven't been following, the Supreme Court let go a huge ruling in Louisiana that essentially has invalidated half of the Voting Rights Act, and now the entire southern United States is all being redistricted to make sure that black voters no longer have majority districts. Now, I know this could get deep in the weeds and really complicated for folks, so I'm going to just narrow it down before we discuss. This is making sure black people's votes count less, period. That's what it is. Let's talk, everybody.
I mean, we sent out a Substack on it after all the stuff happened in Tennessee, and I mean, this is going on in several states, the redistricting, the gerrymandering, Tennessee, Louisiana, Virginia, Alabama. I mean, we put it in the Substack, Norris. This is Jim Crow with a legal team.
Yes, it is. And I think what people need to realize is that by being in Michigan, we've gotten rid of partisan and racial gerrymandering. We have an independent commission that can only change the lines every 10 years. We can't change that.
And we did that
Thank you,
via a ballot
voters, not
petition. Exactly.
Yeah.
That was done via a ballot petition, and everyone said when we were involved with this at the very beginning, everyone said that was just far too complicated for people to understand. It fucking well isn't. What we're talking about here with gerrymandering is when the politicians get to pick their voters instead of the voters picking politicians. It's a really simple way to understand it. So what's happening here is the politicians are literally picking their voters and making it that it falls the way that their particular, whether it be Democrat or Republican, gerrymandering is basically when they
pick their voters.
They pick their voters.
Yeah, and so this has caused really a wave of just frustration, particularly from the Democratic Party, because, you know, in many of the states that we're talking about, there were maybe one, sometimes two Democratic districts, mostly centered around big cities, that now have been completely erased. Particularly Memphis was a big flashpoint.
Yeah, Tennessee has the one congressional district around the Memphis area that was always a Democratic seat. Majority of the representation there was the Black community. And they just got rid of it a few days, like beginning of this week.
Yep, it's gone.
Gone.
Yeah.
It's literally gone.
Just wild.
And another thing, and I want to double re-emphasize this to people, they are stopping elections like mid-vote. People have already voted in most of these states. They are stopping the election and saying, those don't count. We're redrawing the lines, and then you vote again.
And they only do this when they know they can't win on fucking policy.
That's correct.
Like, this is the point, right? When they know they can't win. But imagine that. Imagine in any first world country that they literally turn around in the midst of an election and do this. It's stunning.
This is Banana Republic shit.
It is Banana Republic. Like, honestly, if you looked at this on CNN or any international or whatever and you saw it happening, you'd be like, oh, fuck. No, that is
Yeah.
exactly
We would
right.
never do such a thing
No,
here.
exactly.
Yeah, and so I will say this. People are grossly underreacting to this, in my opinion.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
especially those of us, I think, quote unquote, up north, because there's a feeling that this could never happen here. I'm telling y'all, if it ain't in your constitution, it absolutely can happen. Another thing, and I hate to go out at one of my elders like this, but Jim Clyburn went on CNN. And we had a clip ready.
No,
that we could
he's
play?
one of the people who's going to be redistricted out of his
space in Virginia.
he's gonna lose-
South Carolina.
South
He's going
Carolina.
to lose his seat in South Carolina. They're redrawing the lines, and he won't have a district anymore.
So let me
He's
just-
85 years old, and he said he's going to run again anyway.
So let's just play a little bit of Jim's reaction to this.
What the number will be after the legislature finishes. But whatever that number is, I will be running on a record and a promise. My record and America's promise. So I'm going to run, irrespective of what the makeup of the district might be, because I believe that I have a record that is very acceptable to the South Carolina voter, and I have a good understanding of America's promise, and we'll run on that.
What the fuck, people? You go first, Norris, because I have some very strong thoughts
All
on
right.
this.
Here's how I feel. All right, Uncle Jim. This is the perfect time for you to ride off in the sunset. Nobody would begrudge you if you just say, you know what? I'm done. This is it for me, and whoever is coming after me will have my full support. This is the perfect time to do that, to get new blood, new energy, new excitement, new whatever that might actually be able to compete in these completely unfair, lopsided districts. What I will tell you, my friend, Uncle Jim, is that this will guarantee that you'll be retiring. This is a guarantee that
This
you're
is
retiring.
like, you don't want to end on this note.
No, like, why would you want this to be
Yeah.
your legacy, that, oh, they drew me out of my district and I did nothing to actually maybe
then
reverse those fortunes?
And then I ran again and lost.
At
85 years old.
So I'm
Go
gonna-
buy a boat, Jim.
I know.
Go fishing.
No, well,
Bring your grandkids
Yeah.
out on it.
And it's
I
like,
don't know.
is it unfair? Does it suck? Is this like borderline? Like, is this just unjust in general? Of course it is.
Yeah.
But this is the perfect time to say, cool, this is a changing of the guard. Let's do something big.
I'm going to speak more generally to Democrats generally about this, because that milquetoast fucking response to this drives me nuts, and I'm seeing it way too much from Democrats generally, particularly on this issue. What is it with Democrats that basically think that going out and giving speeches like we're in an episode of fucking West Wing from 1997 is going to help us? Motivational monologues calling on our better angels, while the Republicans are outside blow-torching democracy and raping and pillaging our children. Like, what the fuck are we doing, guys? This is like responsible panel discussions are not going to fix this shit.
No, and your record doesn't matter either. Like that's been proven. Like that's been proven in 2016. The moment Donald Trump won was the moment that your record no longer matters. Your stance no longer matters.
They are fucking torching everything, and we're just going, oh, it'll be all right. Just hoping that we can survive the next 12 months, 3 years. Like, stop it. People need someone that's going to go and fight for them. That's what they're looking for. They need healthcare. They need housing. They need labor rights. They need decent education. They fucking need a real economic security. And at the moment, we've got a system. Any wonder they're pissed off because they've got a system at the moment and everyone thinks that democracy only works for billionaires, nepo babies and crypto bros.
I mean,
end of my story. Sorry. I am pissed.
I want to point out that like Clyburn like had a great legacy until
fairly recently.
I mean, he introduced a really great healthcare act in the early 2000s. I mean, he was somebody who established early like liberal stances on healthcare and education and organized labor and even environmental conservation. But like his work of late, i.e. robocalls for Andrew Cuomo, kind of like makes me feel like, you know, you're a little out of touch at this point. Like you've done some great stuff, but you're not meeting the moment.
Yeah, I just think at this point, there's a lot of people, particularly in Washington, who could be doing so much good by getting behind and mentoring this next generation of lawmakers, getting behind them and saying, you see what they're doing here. I've seen this before. Let me help you through so you can know how to navigate this so we can get some dynamic, and they don't even have to be young. I use young as a catch-all, but I just mean
70.
under 70.
Under 70, please.
Yeah, like,
under retirement age.
Yeah, like not getting AARP
We
benefits.
don't build a bench in our party. We're not doing it. Everybody wants power, and once they get it, they won't ever leave. So we need to be a little more cognizant of giving a helping hand and lifting up the people who are coming after us and knowing when to step aside and saying, you know what, you guys got this. Like, my time's up. I did what I could do. The best way for me to help democracy and my constituents is to help bring up the next generation of leaders.
Because this is how I view it. Now, it was my birthday weekend. I went out to the club the other night, and
You're the oldest person there.
And I went with my with my younger cousin, who's 7 years younger than me. And we were out there, and we had a great time, and we danced, and everybody was fantastic. And a group of girls start flirting with us, and I looked at him and I said, "This is all you, youngster," because I already knew this is time for me to step aside, right? I need to be meeting women at the political rally. I need to be meeting them at the library or at Trader
Norris.
Joe's
Don't,
or whatever.
no.
Or a bar. A bar is
you.
great, right?
That is
a
better.
bar is
He
great.
can't be dating a club
I can't
kid.
go out with the club girl. Be trying to hit on the bottle service girl. I'm through. I've been through that phase. My time is done, and it's time for the next young guns to come and do that. And that's how we got to treat our politics too.
But I think what we also need to add to that, it's not enough just to win. Like, I'm going to go back to my little monologue that I did before. It's not enough to just fucking win. I actually heard the boys from Head in the Office, who are our producers. I listened to their podcast, as should
very good
all of you. It's a
podcast.
very good
Check
podcast.
it out.
And I heard them talking about the fact, in response to all of this redistricting kind of like gerrymandering stuff, is that we didn't do a fucking enough to stop it when we had the power, right? So we need to start to, when we get the power, and hopefully we get some power this year, fucking grab that blowtorch and start using it in ways that are going to protect everybody moving forward.
And I love that.
Thank you, Julie.
I love that
For fuck's
idea.
sake.
I love that idea because the Freedom to Vote Act of what was that 2019 was a thing that could have passed.
Correct.
It would have made Election Day a national holiday so everybody can vote. It would have banned gerrymandering. It would have done so much stuff that would have made this impossible. So I know we all love Medicare for all and all that and certain legislative things that we love. But if I am the Democratic Party, I am looking at, okay, the next time we have full power,
No more Citizens United.
no more Citizens United,
Exactly.
no more crazy, Medicare
Get rid of
for
the
all.
filibuster.
Get rid of the filibuster.
Let's talk about expanding the Supreme Court.
All
And
of this.
let's start age gating it. Fucking retire at 70, all of them.
Term
Supreme
limits.
Court, everybody.
Yeah,
term
term
limits.
limits.
Let's just start to get real about
So,
this shit.
I think I agree with you 1,000%, Julie. Like, let's be real about what you need to be achieving should you attain power.
Exactly.
Because these dudes wrote Project 2025 and straight up told us what their objectives
They've
were.
pretty much fucking finished it at this point.
They are like
I feel
68% or something last time I checked. But anyway,
great.
Gina, we want to bring this back down to Michigan for a hot second and close on a story about school vouchers. I don't have any babies. So, I mean, the schools can borderline implode for all I care. But I'm joking because I want everybody to
Norris
be educated.
likes education.
We love
She
that.
does.
We love that because
Trump
educated
likes
kids...
the poorly educated, which
Yeah.
is why they literally try to defund public education.
Educated kids don't
at every
rob you.
turn.
You want them to be able to, the nurses, when they're at the nursing home, to be able to read the bottle.
That's what I'm
medicine.
saying. Do y'all want a bunch of Oliver Twist kids running around? Like, no. Put them in
They're
school.
gonna need to know like ounces, grams.
Exactly. just the minimal. Gina and I have been talking about this. We do have another podcast called G&T Time, which is for our Patreon subscribers. We'll include that link for you to subscribe to our Patreon to be able to get access to that G&T Time where we gossip. And we were doing this whilst I was still in Australia. We were gossiping every other week.
You guys miss good tea.
Yeah, lots of tea.
So
And
get
some
on
of-
there now.
Correct. And one of the things we were gossiping about has actually come to fruition now, Gina.
Yes, we can let it out in the open. I think everybody remembers how we fought so hard to not allow Betsy DeVos's voucher scheme ballot initiative, Let My Kids Learn, onto the ballot in November of 2022. And we were successful. We successfully let everybody know, hey, these vouchers, what they do is they take public tax dollars and they allow them to go to for-profit schools like private schools, charter schools. Charter schools are not like, these schools can teach any curriculum.
Yeah.
I can take my public school, my public taxpayer money, and I could go to, I don't know, the Jesus Christ Hates Anyone Who's Not a Christian school and spend my public tax dollar there.
Or let my kids smoke weed. It doesn't matter.
Like,
Like, it doesn't matter.
whatever
Like,
the school
limits,
is.
yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. Like, anyway, so Trump is trying to do this on a federal level across all states right now, right?
Yep.
This is why he's got that wrestling lady, Linda McMahon, taking the Department of Education apart right now. She has moved most of the major departments into other areas. So there's basically no Department of Education. And now what they want to do is roll out this voucher scheme that was kind of like part of the big beautiful bill, and they want to roll this out in every state across the country. So this means governors are now deciding, okay, am I gonna bring this into my state or not? So Julie, what's Big Gretch thinking about?
So I've been hearing this for a little while now because, as most people know, we're a part of the Invest in My Kids Ballot Initiative Coalition, which we're still working on in terms of that's not going to the ballot this year.
That was not like Let My
No.
Kids Learn. Invest in My Kids was to tax the 1% of Michigan and raise money only for public schools.
Exactly. So this is kind of something that's quite dear to our hearts. And I mean, like I said, public education, incredibly important. What I want to add to what's going on at the moment is that under Trump's scheme, under the one beautiful, whatever the fucking ugly bill it is, it's going to allow $5 billion, B for billion, in public dollars to be used for private school funding. That's what it means. So I've been hearing for a little while now that our governor, Gretchen Whitmer, has been slowly becoming more open to these school vouchers, right? Now, what I did hear last week was that it's not just that she's open to it, that she's becoming very, far more comfortable than I think any of us would like with this particular idea of these this voucher scheme. Now, what has happened in the last couple of days, as we record here, we're recording on the Tuesday, this podcast will drop on the Thursday, is Dr. Pam Pugh, who is on the State Board of Education for Michigan, has actually introduced a resolution at the State Board of Education meeting, and I believe it's happening today. So by Thursday, when this podcast drops, we'll have the outcome of this. It's a resolution that will oppose the federal voucher scheme that is part of this that we're talking about here. But indeed, it seems like if this goes through, our governor certainly has warmed quite cozily up to the idea of this of these vouchers. And like we've been talking about it because I think it is important. So much of this happens under the dark of night,
Right.
that no one fucking knows about it.
So I want to chime in as somebody who has like personal experience with people who have experienced education in a very different way than me. Right. So I'm a Detroit Public Schools graduate. I went to Detroit Public Schools my entire life or my entire childhood. And when I got to college was my first time really actually interfacing with people who did not go to public school, like of any kind.
Yeah.
And I met a girl at a frat party, and we were all talking about like going to the Welcome Center and checking on our student loans because everybody was trying to get that refund check and go on vacation. So we were talking about that, and she asked me like, "Oh, you're not here on scholarship." I thought she was complimenting me like I was smart, right? And I was like, "Oh, nah, I didn't get a scholarship. I'm getting loans just like everybody else." She said, "Oh, I thought like all black people got to go to school for free."
You fucking kidding me?
This is in 2006 or 7. And she's like, "I thought black people got to go to school like for free." I was like, "Pardon me?" And she said through a combination of
My mind's fucking blown.
teachers, her parents, and she grew up way far out. Like I don't even remember. It had to be like past
The sticks. Somewhere.
past Midland, like way up there. Alpena maybe or something like that. And I was like, "Yo, who told you that?" And we had a whole
I'm gonna assume
discussion.
she had a lot of Fox News on.
We
in her house
had
growing
a
up.
whole discussion deconstructing all the wrong information about black people that she just got, right? So she was thinking like college was paid for through welfare and like 90% of all black people were on welfare. She thought like, I'm talking about some egregious stuff. And it was one of the most shocking things to me. And I'm like, shouldn't public school like teach
I'm
this?
so sorry you had a.
I found it hilarious that somebody that stupid
Yeah.
could also be like.
It's hard not to laugh in
it's
someone's
hard not to
face,
laugh, right?
Like you can't
But-
be that stupid.
The older I got, the more I realized she a victim too. And she's a victim because she has been indoctrinated from the moment she was born to believe that I was getting more than she was, and therefore I was an enemy.
Perfect story to tell because the schools that they're going to start creating that will be for-profit schools to take these charter funds will be PragerU style.
Yeah.
You're joking.
They will be
will be.
PragerU style K through 12 educational communities popping up where they're going to be teaching their own version of history.
This is the same PragerU who has an entire video out saying slavery was not that bad.
Yeah. It's actually
not-
good for black people.
I'm not joking.
Because it gave them a place to live and a job.
Yes.
That's what it says.
And they didn't have to pay rent.
But just remember, like what we have to remember though, remember Norris, when Trump came, did his Detroit tour before the election, literally that's what Charlie Kirk and all of those guys were saying in that room, in that.
Oh, I remember.
No, I just want to point out, like, the current public school education system.
Needs work.
I mean,
It
it's not
needs
great.
work.
Yeah.
So, okay, did you guys watch the Hassan stream where he was talking about Pearl Harbor? It was like all over. Jeremy must have saw it. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
shaking his head.
What'd he say in it? What was?
And I was a victim of this. Okay, when we were taught about World War II, now I had that American history, and I believe it was in high school, maybe like eighth. No, it wasn't eighth grade. I learned like ancient history in eighth grade. Anyway, we were kind of taught that Pearl Harbor happened like out of the blue. We were, surprised by it. It was like this, like
They just came in
the
and
Japanese just did this
Yeah.
like crazy fucking thing. We did not learn there was an oil embargo
Yeah.
happening at the time.
See, we learned that.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, I
See,
guess
but-
they fluffed
okay.
the history books.
Okay. No, but
Because
to-
we were also taught that the poor Puritans for Thanksgiving, when they were the fucking weirdo religious people kicked out of England, the people we want to kick out of our country right now,
see, this is why listen.
they
I'll
were
God.
persecuted because of their religion. Well, their religion was fucked up.
No, I firmly remember being talking to people who even just went to school, public school in certain suburbs, and they were just like, we didn't learn that. So I guess allegedly DPS was like historical radicals and teaching like the Howard Zinn version of
I think
U.S. history.
The bottom line is what we're talking about here is a system that's built basically, they're trying to build a system which is for the few, right?
Yes.
They're trying to send the many to something that's built around the few. It's about around their religion, it's about their beliefs, it's teaching history in a way that they want to teach it. And so I think this voucher thing needs to have more conversation around it.
Absolutely.
We need to make sure that this doesn't, because what happens is we know that the foundation of any democracy and any society is education, right? At the end of the day. So if you don't invest in education, if you turn it into something that's just basically, a hamster wheel.
Another for-profit,
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
getting a couple people rich, and that's exactly what this is designed to do.
Exactly. And
I'm
I mean-
telling you, these little PragerU high school K through 12 campuses will start popping up.
I'm telling you, if
If
this
it's not
goes
called
through,
PragerU, it'll be called something
Yeah.
else. It's going to whitewash history. They're going to teach what they only want, certain people to know. It's going to be awful for the country.
and if this goes through, it'll be terrible for not just our education system, but it'll be terrible all across the board for the critical thinking skills,
Yeah.
for empathy, because it's really hard to empathize with people you know nothing about.
Exactly.
So it'll be terrible across the board, and I guess I'll just have to start a school myself and just
We'll
teach.
start the Distill Social
Yeah,
School.
we'll start the Distill Social School for young people.
We'll have them all in our studio and we'll indoctrinate them
Yes.
and take the vouchers.
Because you know what? That's what for every.
They'll get civics lessons and history. We'll
They'll-
take them to the museum.
That's
Yeah,
right. I'll
if
teach
the
them,
museum's still
I'll
fucking
teach them
there.
how to cuss. It's going to be fantastic. Your
It'll be
kids will
great.
be well
It'll
looked
be
after.
great. But so we're gonna start wrapping up. But we do have a thing that we want to talk to you about, because will this still be available?
Yes. So Michiganders for Money Out of Politics, we are getting down to the last days and hours to be able to sign this. So just a reminder, if you've not signed the Michiganders for Money Out of Politics ballot petition, you need to do it urgently. We'll be putting out on Distill Social where you can go and sign, but literally there are only days to go. So
Let me tell people
Yeah.
a quick cautionary tale. This is what we want to stop, okay? There is a new super PAC that just this week launched millions of dollars in ads for Haley Stevens, touting her opposition to ICE. Now, fucking Haley Stevens voted to praise ICE last summer. Okay, she is not the opposition candidate towards ICE. Dark money is pouring into this state and putting these ads up everywhere. This is the bullshit this ballot initiative is trying to stop locally.
Absolutely. So if you have signed the Michiganders for Money Out of Politics before Thanksgiving, you need to sign again. That's a really important thing to note. So look out on Distill Social for where you can go and sign the ballot petition, but please make sure you sign it before. Really, we've got another just hours and just a couple of days. Over this weekend, it's
Yeah.
probably going to be your last opportunity to sign it in the wild.
And
I
the
suspect.
canvassers have been everywhere. I've
they
seen
have.
them around. So 9 times out of 10, if you're at like a grocery store or any sort of mass public gathering, you'll see them.
Yep.
They'll talk to you about it, explain it, break it down to you. But it's a thing that we want to do. We all agree bipartisanly that money in or dark money in politics is not helping us. So maybe this is a
That's
thing
right.
that will.
I don't think DTE has my best interests in mind. What about you, Norris?
No, not at all. Especially when they don't clean up the trees that fall in my mama's backyard on the power line.
Julie just had some medical treatments.
I did.
But
Under my socialized healthcare system in Australia. Sorry.
Blue Cross and Blue Shield want to give thousands of dollars to various candidates. I don't think they should be allowed to, because they would then go and say, no, Julie's care isn't covered by her insurance.
First of all,
Correct.
the hospital
Exactly.
should never be able to say no to you, dog. Like, you should be able to walk in, I'm bleeding and dying, help me. Okay? That's how a hospital
No.
is supposed
Where's
to
your
function.
insurance card, Norris?
No, that's not what I want
God
to hear.
forbid you walk into the wrong hospital and you don't have insurance and you're bleeding and dying. They will literally put you in a bus and send you to another hospital.
Exactly. So let's fix this, please, and make it so these big corporations cannot control our politics.
Sign, baby, sign.
Yep. So thanks again, everybody, for listening to this episode of Point of Disorder. Again, you can find us on all your social medias, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, at Point of Disorder, and at Distill Social. Another very special welcome back to Julie. We're so happy to have you back.
So happy to be here. I'm
Oh.
just surprised you guys didn't fix everything while I was away. That's the only thing that's pissing me off. So, okay.
Hey, real quick, I want to tell everybody, start checking your local city commission meetings. Things are popping up and they're not telling you. So as we're kind of looking around the state, proposals for new data centers are popping up on agendas. Flock camera shit in contracts is popping up. See what your city's up to. That's all. See you next week, guys.
Bye.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of Point of Disorder. We'd like to extend a huge thank you to everyone who listened today. And if you like us, give us a like, a subscribe, or a review on any place you get your podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Distill Social and at The Guerrilla Politic. This is the Point of Disorder podcast, signing off. Stay sharp, stay progressive, and above all, stay tuned.